Today we'll be taking a look at ultrasonic cleaning for cap and ball revolvers. I'm Dustin and you're watching Guns of the West. Ultrasonic cleaning is a system that sends ultrasonic sound waves through a cleaning solution, creating vibrations but also rapidly expanding bubbles that then implode on themselves, and all this action breaks up dirt and grime on the surfaces of an object. Well, I've got the 1860 Colt Army here, and yesterday I was out shooting with a lot of paper cartridges, got the gun good and dirty, and it sat overnight, which is not ideal, so this gun is pretty messy. Why don't we head out to the garage and see if we can't get it cleaned up with some ultrasonic cleaning. Well, here is the 1860 Army up close, and it is very dirty, as I mentioned. The hammer's getting pretty stiff to pull back, even stiff to let down. Let's go ahead and take this wedge out. There we go. Get the barrel off. Yeah, that is that is pretty sticky. This is going to be a good test for the ultrasonic method. There's that. Put this hammer back a little bit, get that cylinder off. And this is just filthy. Now, I already have video on complete disassembly of a Colt cap and ball revolver, so I won't bore you with it now. I'll just get it disassembled and we'll move on to the next step. Well, now the 1860 Army is completely disassembled. For those who didn't know, this is what one looks like in the exploded view. No real order to these pieces. I was just dropping them as I took them out. Now, before I introduce the ultrasonic cleaner, I am going to cheat just a little bit. And what I mean is I'm going to take the cylinder and also the barrel and just give those a quick rinse in the sink. And on the barrel, I'll even run a wire brush through it. Now, after cleaning the guns that I did with the ultrasonic, I have no doubt it would clean all that fouling out on its own. But rather than have that much soaking in the solution, we'll just give it a quick flush. Alright, well, here is the Isonic Digital Ultrasonic Cleaner, which I purchased from Amazon. And if you'd like to get the same one, as it is affordable yet quality and reliable, there is a link down below in the description, so make sure you check that out. And inside the machine, I've got my solution, which is a mixture of water and just regular old Simple Green all-purpose cleaner. Nice thing about Simple Green, not only does it clean and degrease well, but it's also biodegradable, environmentally friendly. So I don't have to feel bad if I just dump it out in the dirt when I'm finished or flush it down a drain. And the ratio, it's suggested for heavy duty work to do a 1-to-1 solution, general purpose 1-to-10, and I'm calling cleaning a black powder gun somewhere between the two. So I've got about 1-to-6 to 1-to-7, just eyeballed, not exact. Here are all the pieces of my revolver, and you can see the basket that this comes with is sized perfectly for this. The Walker barrel just barely fit, but this 1860 Army barrel is great. I'm just going to make sure these are spread out a little bit. And I want to point out just a couple of problem areas. The nipples, as you know, if you've cleaned these guns before, get very gunked up and take a lot of time as you have to get in there with a little pick and brush out the threads. So we'll see how the ultrasonic does by itself. And as you also probably know, the hammer, especially on the face, you can see all the fouling and how thick it is. And I usually take a toothbrush to that and all of the screw threads and toothbrush to a lot of the gun. The arbor over here, you can see that's very dirty. But rather than take a brush to any of this stuff, let's just lower it down into the solution. You can see all the parts are submerged. And if you're very observant, you may have noticed a few parts missing. I've got the brass trigger guard set aside, the back strap, and also the grip. The brass I don't want to put in because when I tested this machine on some powder measures, it did discolor the brass. I'm using some heat in here and it discolored. Didn't hurt it, but I don't want that to happen on here. I can just wipe it down while this is running. And the grip, of course, does not need to go in there. And this doesn't get very dirty. I'll just wipe it off while the machine's running as well. Now to get this going, this button here turns on the heat. This little red light indicates that. And then I can set the time for up to 480 seconds, which is 8 minutes. And I've been doing this in 2 8-minute washes. So let's go ahead and get the lid on. I'll press the button and we'll be back in 8 minutes. and that is 8 minutes. Let's have a look. Well, the solution has certainly changed color since we last saw it. Let's pull this basket up. Already, remember we're only halfway done, but already the arbor, most of the fouling we could see on there has been removed, a little bit left. Hammer face, it's wet, but every bit of that caked up fouling has been removed, and I didn't take a brush to any of it. In the corners are clean. Let's have a look at one of the nipples here. Pretty clean threads, might be a little out of focus for you, but it looks just about done. I want to just take a quick look on the cylinder. I'm going to take a cleaning patch. Again, only halfway done. I'm not going to judge it too harshly. I got a little bit of fouling on there from my thumb, but let's just see what a patch looks like. Wow, not bad. But again, this is only halfway. Let's go ahead and lower everything back down in. Get it respread. I'm going to turn the barrel over. I don't know if it matters, but the way things are settling down, just let it do it from both directions. And actually, rather than just lower it in, that's pretty filthy. And just like I don't like baths as much as showers because I like things to wash away, not soak in them, I'm going to go dump that out, refill it with fresh solution. Well, that's more like it. Now I'll lower in the parts again, cover it up, get the heat turned back on, back up to 8 minutes, and we'll give it another go. And we are finished washing this gun, folks. Let's take a look here. That arbor came out very clean. The face of the frame back there was very dirty, and it's clean now. Another thing you need to be aware of with the Ultrasonic is, especially with something like Simple Green, it's a degreaser. All oil is removed. When this dries, it's going to be squeaky clean, bone dry. Right here, you can already see it evaporating, and it's leaving nothing. The bluing is fine, but it's not leaving any lubricant whatsoever. As I'm talking, it's really rapidly happening. So you need to make sure you reapply the lubricant. Before I do that, I have one more step I'm going to do just to get rid of the Simple Green, which is to go just give these a quick rinse with water under the faucet. Again, the parts are drying very rapidly, and as I said before, squeaky clean. I'm so impressed with how well this works. The cylinder, got some paper that came out during the wash. Those are from my paper cartridges, but it got the cylinder itself cleaned out well. The frame. Last thing there is to do after it's clean is just dry everything so you don't get any rust, and then re-oil. And to dry, you could wipe everything down. That's going to take just a little time. You can also find these cans of compressed air to do the job, but that's going to rack up a bit of a cost. If you have an air compressor, and this is the way I've been doing it, you can just use a little air tool like this, which does the whole job in seconds, even gets right down into the screw holes. With all the parts dry now, even the ones that I cleaned by hand off camera, all that's left to do is just give a light coating of oil to everything. And what I'm going to be using is this Ballistol, which I highly recommend. You've seen it in my videos before. And one of the biggest reasons I recommend it is because it emulsifies with water. So if there is any water down anywhere in any of the little crevices or holes, rather than be repelled by it, this will mix with it. So the water can still make its way out, and as it evaporates, this stuff is left behind to protect the metal. I'm going to take a patch here and just give it a good soak. And I'll kind of fold it in on itself, get it all wet. In a moment, I'll be using this jag to run it through the bore and the chambers. But also, I want to point out a little trick. When I handle this, it gets enough on my skin that for the little pieces, I don't even have to use a cloth. I just pick them up, just work them around in my hands, even the little screws, squeeze into the threads, and that will oil them just fine. Might need to run it in between the little pieces there. But I just go over every piece, just a thin little coat of oil, wipe it dry, and we'll be finished. And there we have it. Gun is clean as a whistle, everything's working very smoothly, and it is ready to go again. Well, as always, I hope you enjoyed this video today and found it helpful. That ultrasonic cleaner really did an outstanding job on the 1860 Army revolver, and that is how I will be cleaning revolvers from now on, I think. Now, if you decide to do it yourself, you saw today that simple green works with water as a good solution. If you decide to experiment with others, please do your homework, as I did before I made this video, to make sure you're not using something that will harm the finishes on your gun. Don't forget to click that like button down below and subscribe to the channel, and check out a link in the description for that ultrasonic cleaner. Thank you so much for watching.